how vindicating is it for you to be in the place that you're at right now, both as a musician and as a member of this band, when you think about the journey you've been on over the last 2 decades?
I mean, I really don't know. It's such a. I mean, that's another whole interview by itself. You know, that thing, the journey of it and everything. Because I tend not to really think about it that much, because when I do want to stop to think about it for a minute, it is pretty crazy. But I think the main point would be that, yeah, I don't know if it's vindication, because I kind of stand by everything that we've done with the band. I'm definitely in a different place. I mean, mentally, I'm in a different place, you know.
I'm going to dive straight in, and firstly, again, welcome back to Into the Necrosphere. It's great to see you guys again, and it is particularly good seeing you after, or hot on the heels of genuinely what I think is one of your greatest records, if not your best album. And I'll kind of tell you where I'm coming from as somebody who's followed Crippled Black Phoenix like all the way from the beginning. I feel like in this next chapter of Crippled Black Phoenix, which kind of started in 2020, there has been this progressive shifting of gears where you have been able to make every record sound like or feel like much more of a journey and tap into a depth of emotion that I don't think, and even as much as I liked your previous stuff, I don't think you've been able to do as effectively as and this new record to me just sets an unbelievable benchmark, which I don't know how you're going to top it, but congratulations.
Well, thanks. Yeah. Well, I mean, what do you even say to that? I mean,
interview over. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, thanks, Mike. I mean, I guess, to us, we're still just kind of doing what we do. You know, I mean, we didn't pay that much attention to it really, and we try not to overthink everything too much. So it was still a matter of like recording a bunch of songs that we had at that time, and I think it's like still a progression, although I know this sounds stupid for us to say. It's probably not for us to say, but we're not trying to be progressive. We're not trying to have a progression. We're just doing what we do. But we don't like to, repeat ourselves, obviously. But it just, I don't know. We just try and do it sort of naturally, I guess. So I mean, it's nice that. I mean, those are really big words, for us to hear, because. Yeah, to us it's the same old misery, and it's like, yeah, the vibe sometimes it's just like the way you present it, maybe, and the vibe that we've got at the minute, that always shifts each time. But then when we sort of play live, we play songs from different albums, and they could all be off the same album sometimes. So it's a lot of how you present it in the production, but I think the vibe was a little bit meaner this time, and a little bit more. I mean, it was more personal. I wanted to for the lyrics and the themes and everything. So there's a little bit more emotion in it. I mean, I don't know. What do you think? Don't let me do all the talking.
I'm sorry. I'm so tired. I'm just so tired. Yeah, I agree.
Agreed.
Mm-hmm.
I do think though, having a song like Ravenette's like be your first proper opener on the record, that does feel quite intentional to me. When I heard that the first time, I was like, I mean, I heard the single and really enjoyed it, but I was like, that feels like it's almost telling you right from the beginning of the record to expect the unexpected. Is that fair to say?
I mean,
kind of, because they're like, some people are going to think the whole record is going to be of people who don't know us, just this gothy goth, whatever it is. But then, just you wait and see. Kind of thing.
Yeah,
we always do it like that.
It was definitely intentional to put Ravenette's out first. I mean, funny you should say that, but the first, there was another song included that didn't actually end up on the album, but the first 5 songs, they were written before the Wolf album. You know, the one that we did with all the reworkings and the covers.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, so the first half of this album is about 3 years old, right? So started writing it.
And Beautiful Destroyer was supposed to be a Johnny the Boy song.
Yeah.
But I said no, because it was too cripply. And, you know, we need to do like, but it would sound a little bit different.
Yeah.
But that was a great CD piece.
But the first 5 songs were written in that order. So it's like picking up on what I mentioned. It's like, it sounds like that was the first song to come out, the Ravenettes, but the first song on the album, that was the first song written for this album. And then
things start falling apart, no epitaph.
Yeah. Yeah. And they were written in that order, and then they were recorded in that order as well. So the first half of the album is actually a progression of how the songs were written, then recorded, and we managed to keep that. And then the second half came, and then the Wolf album got in the way, not in the way, but it got diverted. And then we come back to this album, and we picked on, and then we nicked the Johnny the Boy not the Johnny the Boy song back, and turned it into Beautiful Destroyer. So, yeah.
And given that timeline, was Johnny the Boy being done around about the same time all of these other songs are getting done?
No, it was just before. I think that it was like
before. Okay.
Yeah, we did Johnny the Boy, and then we sort of started on this kind of quest, I guess. I can't really remember exactly how we did it.
So if we're talking about quests, I mean, you've been, Justin, you in particular, have been on a extraordinary journey with Crippled Black Phoenix. It's fair to say, and like I think at some point you could probably write one of the wildest novels about ups and downs with a band, and as a musician you can imagine. But how vindicating does it feel to you now, putting out a record like this that is as well received as it has been received? And it feels to me as well, like when I talk to you, and when I just kind of get the tenor of the posts that you're putting out on the Crippled Black Phoenix socials, like you seem a lot more settled and a lot more relaxed and confident and comfortable with where things are going. How vindicating is it for you to be in the place that you're at right now, both as a musician and as a member of this band, when you think about the journey you've been on over the last 2 decades?
Yeah, 22 years, eh? Wow. In fact, our drummer is 22. He was born when I start. Yeah, we're playing songs as old as he is. Anyway, I mean, I really don't know. It's such a. I mean, that's another whole interview by itself. You know, that thing, the journey of it and everything. Because I tend not to really think about it that much, because when I do want to stop to think about it for a minute, it is pretty crazy. But I think the main point would be that, I don't know if it's vindication, because I kind of stand by everything that we've done with the band. I just think that there was I don't know. It's a weird one. It's a proper weird one. I'm definitely in a different place. I mean, mentally, I'm in a different place, you know. And there's been ups and downs for sure. With the band, it's a lot more settled these days, you know. I think that Belinda now has been in with the band with me, you know, whatever, for what is it now?
Since
2011 or something.
And I started doing like the core vocals, so to speak, from Ellengeist when Daniel left. When I started to have more of a role. Yeah.
So I guess so. Around the time that, Ellengeist, when Daniel left, and then we did the guest vocals, because it was, you know, like a time thing. So we ended up doing guest vocals. That worked out really well. And then the whole dynamic of the band kind of shifted then. And we still tried to treat it like a band, and we had, like, you know, we tried to have all the band members, proper core members, and it just didn't work out, because I think they wanted their freedom as well, you know. And I think me and Belinda, we sort of ended up just sort of committed to this now. So the dynamics changed, so that's more settled. I feel that the whole burden isn't all on my shoulders like I did for many years, which I think that was the pressure of that made some bad decisions, you know. So and it is really nice. And I think back to the album, I think that we're able to focus a lot more on the albums because there's less bullshit going on elsewhere, you know. I think that really makes a difference. I think we're a lot stronger. I think the music's stronger. I think we're not afraid to just sort of go for it so much. Not that we never did. We always did what we want. Right? Some albums are so, you know, freaky folky or whatever you want to call them, you know, whatever. But all right, we're comfortable now. I think we're really comfortable. And plus the fact I think age comes into it a bit, and you know, no more drama. We don't want any more drama or anything like that. We just get on with it, and you know, we're more open-minded in a way. You know, when it comes to, like you say, with the I think the socials thing. If it looks more settled, it's probably because I'm posting less. So you know, I look to the label and other people for advice nowadays because I'm useless at it.
One thing that struck me when we talked about Johnny the Boy those many moons ago was the dynamic between the two of you, and I think having met you and having had that conversation with you, it maybe colored how I was listening to Crippled Black Phoenix as well as to Johnny the Boy. But I thought there was a, you know, there's like the great connections in music, you know, like. You can think about Slayer, it's like, you know, Hanneman and King, you know, and it's like that across multiple music genres. But there was a connection between the two of you in that conversation that really came screaming out at me. And you know, as I listened to the newer records, Belinda, for me, like one of the biggest, I think, draws into these new albums emotionally and just from a enjoyment and a journey and engagement perspective has been your voice. But I was curious, how did the two of you actually meet?
Oh, you tell the story, Justin.
I'm doing all the talking.
Yeah, but you're the one that. How did you?
Well, when I was doing Crafty Ape, basically, because I've always liked sort of female voice, you know, is always nice, always part of it. And when I was doing Crafty Ape, around at the same time, I was listening to Belinda's solo album, you know, Killing Mood.
You've never heard of it. But...
Yeah, you should check it out.
No.
I think it's a wonderful album, but anyway. So I was listening to that a lot. I got past a promo copy of it. I was working at Plastic Head as a label manager there, and like I got past a promo copy of it and discovered that Belinda was a friend of a friend. So we knew mutual people. So with that, got in touch with her and asked her if she wanted to do some guest vocals on Crafty Ape, which she did, just a couple of bits. And then that worked out nice. And then she did more on the No Sadness. And then she just started doing more and more and more, you see. So that was a really natural kind of the way that it happened. I mean, yeah, we met through music. And I think just we have a connection through music. And
we
really
always do. We can.
I mean, we're like brother and sister, you know, we're family. We are, this is it for life, you know. And the music brought us together, but you know, it's
we really connect creative. Then we had another band, like how many bands that we had? Sceaduhelm. I don't know if you ever heard of that. Yeah, and our second album was really gothic, dark gothic driven, and it's like we brought elements of that into Crippled now from the Sceaduhelm.
Yeah. So like all the connections that we have musically now, I think we're able to use them more like focused, like like you said, you know, we had the Sceaduhelm thing, which was like kind of goth, a little bit folky at first, but it went kind of gothy. But that's like our influences, you know, from the 80s, you know. And we're both the same age, you see, so we're kind of influenced by the same sort of things. So we've always had that connection. But then when we started to bring that into CBP, we don't really need to do. We did say the land's separate because it was it doesn't really fit with CBP, but CBP can be whatever it is. So now it just kind of it also fits in what we do, and we've got.
I love the new way it's taking. I mean, I love the old Crippled Black Phoenix, but for me, I like this more.
I'm 100% with you. I mean, like I said before, and this was what I was what I was driving at when I was talking about the difference in how I'm experiencing the music now. Before, to me, Crippled Black Phoenix was a collage where I was waiting for the next interesting idea to come up, and there were many on a record. But if I take Sceaduhelm as an example, from the moment the record starts to the moment that it ends, it is a journey, and it is like just high, from start to finish. If I think about No Epitaph, The Precipice, for example, that final like 2.5 minutes that you've got in there, that is just goosebump stuff. It's like, it took me back. I was thinking about it yesterday when I was because I listened to the song probably about easily 50 times yesterday. I'm like, and when that bit comes on, I was sitting there listening, thinking to myself, this kind of gives me the feeling of, hearing, and it's completely different kind of music, but hearing Guns N' Roses for the first time when I was a kid, or hearing AC/DC for the first time when I was a kid. It's that, like, it almost took me back to those things that first make you fall in love with music.
Oh, wow.
And so this is why I said, like, this, what you've done on this record to me is just extraordinary, absolutely extraordinary. I mean, you're on a podcast that is predominantly black metal and death metal, but when I heard this, I was like, I got in touch with Will, and I was like, I have to get them back on. This is just too good to not be talking about.
Oh, well, I really appreciate that. I mean, it is nice. I mean, obviously, it's like we don't really ever fit in anywhere, but we fit in everywhere. It's really strange. It's the same kind of thing as when we do festivals, isn't it?
Oh God, yeah.
We play all kinds of different festivals.
Well, it's like the prog or metal influence, but we're all excited because we've been asked to play Oya Festival in Norway, which is like indie. It's like playing now again.
Nick Cave and The Cure.
And The Cure.
Oh, okay, that's quite cool.
And it's not metal. It's like.
But then we play, Brutal Assault, and we play Hellfest, and in a way, it's like we're always outcasts everywhere we go, but we're always welcome everywhere we go. It's very strange. It's a bit of I don't know if it's a dichotomy, but it's because it's not a problem really, but it's, but it's like you say, we're on like a predominantly sort of black metal kind of metal podcast, but I mean, for us, it doesn't matter because we're just talking music, right? It's all rock and roll at the end of the day, and we have it always surprised me how many guys from, so like, say for instance, the black metal scene, always turned up to our gigs, always, and I think now we have like more connections in that kind of world. But we still do what we do. But I don't know why there is a crossover, I guess. I really love it. I love how it's working out. It wasn't always the case, but I don't know what it is. I just appreciate it. So yeah.
Well, I had a similar conversation with Matt from Hex Vessel last year, actually, and he was kind of saying the same thing, because I was talking to him at Beyond the Gates, and he said the exact same. He's like, we can be invited to go to a folk festival, we can be invited to go to a black metal festival, and we seem to be able to fit in, fortunately, quite seamlessly wherever we land, even though we don't sound like the average folk band, and we certainly don't sound like the average black metal band. I think that's actually quite a cool place to be in, because I mean, how much of what's coming out is truly new, and how much of what's coming out can you not necessarily box straight away? Like, there's a lot of records that come out and you go, yeah, it's a great black metal album, next. But with this, the space that you guys occupy is kind of your own place, your own world, and in some ways, if you're a fan of music, to your point, it almost makes a Crippled Black Phoenix record a more when you release something, it's slightly more special, if that makes sense.
I mean, yeah, it was always going to be, we're always going to do our own thing, but I mean, I don't see any other way to be, all you can be is yourself, so it is what it is. I think way back when, 22 years ago, and I ended up leaving Electric Wizard. I think for me that was the end of, like, being part of a scene. I think that was like, okay, it's supposed to be really open-minded. It's always like over these sort of punk rock scenes, and even the anarcho punk rock and all the all that, but doom metal, thrash metal, black metal. They're all supposed to be. It's all supposed to be open-minded, but what you find is it rarely is. So you have to keep making the same sort of albums over and over again, and you play the same shows, you play the same tours. And I think I never quite felt comfortable. I was just not bored of the music. I'm not saying that at all. I love the music, but it's just, I just want to do whatever it is. I just don't want to have these kind of things to think about, you know? So when I did CVP, it was like, yeah, I might have gone a little bit too far with the first few albums and gone really soft and folky, but I wanted to do that at the time. Yeah. So it's the only way to be, you know? And then when you're, I'm not saying I'm truly open-minded, but when you're more like this, I think you're taking influences of life. You take influences from film and obviously music, and it comes out the way it just comes out, you know? And just like I said, we just try not to overthink it, really. And this is the result. So I think it's probably doing things the hard way for sure, because it's taken us a long time to come up with an album that like everyone seems to really get onto. 22 years, and we finally.
About that, 22 years of going back and forth. Your dad had a record store when you were growing up. Am I correct?
He did, yes, yeah. I just made a homage T-shirt to his shop.
I know, I saw that, but I was going to ask you, how much of an influence did that, I guess, availability of music or that exposure to music, how much of an influence did that have on you as an artist and as a musician?
Everything. It was everything, really. I mean, I remember when I was very, very young, you see, I had an older sister who was like hung around with the local goth bands and the punk bands. So I was like taken to gigs, you know, went to see Motorhead very early, went to see the Damned very early. And I can remember decorating the shop with my dad one year, and he said, you can have any record in the shop for decorating. And I picked up Never Mind the Bollocks because I was really young, and it was a fluorescent cover and it had bollocks on the front. And I want this. Swear words, brilliant. And I was playing it, and I got a cassette as well, and I played it at school, and the headmistress confiscated it, took me and called my dad. My dad had to come all the way from the next town, and I saw him go in the office. I thought, oh, I'm fucked. And apparently, yeah, afterwards he came out, and all he did was just wink at me and grin and just walk past me. And apparently, I hear years later, he gives the headmistress a right bollocking for dragging him all the way from work just because I was listening to punk rock. I mean, you know. So yeah, it's really, I had access to everything I wanted, you know. So this is why one minute I'm listening to Journey's first album, the next minute I'm listening to Anti-Nowhere League or something, you know. You know, everything. But I had to discover what's kind of cool and not myself. But, yeah.
But that's also kids nowadays grow up with Spotify. Everything they want to hear is within, you know, literally a thumb press away. Whereas we all come from that place where you had to actively search for music and seek out stuff to listen to and enjoy. But again, you had the benefit, I would imagine, with a record store of having so much from so many different genres available to you. And it strikes me again listening to the just the music on this new record, just how broad your musical palette actually is, because this is not just like, you know, riff, you know, verse, chorus, solo kind of music. There's a complexity to what you do that is it's way beyond the average garage band. So your actual kind of musical, I guess, your development as a musician, how did that sort of evolve out of discovering these bands? When did you actually start playing an instrument?
Oh, the first performance I did, I was 10 years old, and I was playing drums along with Adam and the Ants, Kings of the Wild Frontier, in 1981 at a school assembly. So that was where I started. I wanted to be an Adam and the Ants, you know. I wanted to be a drummer, which is like where I went doing the drums. So, and then I suppose when I started playing in bands and I learned the guitar and everything, I think I went too far in trying everything. And then kind of having many ideas and no idea at the same time, and trying to put it all together and make sense of it, make it all work. And I think now, you see, I mean, the new album, it's like a lot of the songs are more simple, in fact, I
Mm.
think. You know, they're punchier, and there are actually some pop songs on the album which are like, they're actually verse, chorus, break, verse, chorus, you know. But it's kind of what you do with that. I mean, I suppose you could do that, like, you know, we're not going to do it like every song like the Ramones or anything like that, but you can do some really interesting things without doing very much at all, if you see what I mean. But I think you have to go over the edge. I think you've got to go to the edge of the cliff and fall off and climb back up to actually realize that maybe, you know, that you can try to do too much all at the same time, which is maybe, I don't know, maybe why it's become more focused. I don't know, you know. I really don't know. It's a weird thing. It's just spending your whole life playing and making music. This is just where I've ended up. I really don't know how to think about it.
Well, the thing is that you touch on something interesting there, because when you contrast complexity against simplicity, that becomes that can create a really effective dynamic. You know, think about again, big frame of reference for me is going to be metal bands, but like, you know, let's take something totally different to Crippled Black Phoenix. Sacrificial Suicide by Deicide, one of the best death metal songs ever. When they do the Damn to Hell part that everyone knows, I mean, it's 3 notes. It's da 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 da. But it's so fucking cool, because before that there's been chaos and carnage and stuff, and then you have that, and then you know, it suddenly just grabs you by the throat. And that kind of that philosophy applies, I think, extremely well to what you guys do. And again, it's something that you have gotten a lot better at over successive albums, particularly recently. You can throw tons and tons of layers at the listener, and then know exactly when to pull back and have something very, very simple, and it makes that simple moment either land more elegantly, emotionally, dynamically, however you want it to be, but it makes it so much more impactful. And again, Belinda, I give you credit there. Your voice plays a principal part in making that happen.
Oh, thank you.
I don't know whether we touched on this when we talked about Johnny the Boy, because I was at that point still completely enamored by your screams, but your clean singing. I was thinking this morning of like, what does this remind me of? And in some ways, it's almost like all my other favorite musicians melded into one. Like, you know, I can hear like things that I like about the female voice. Like, I love Chelsea Wolfe, I love PJ Harvey, I love Stevie Nicks, I love Emma Ruth Rundle. If I think about all of those voices, it almost feels to me like there's something of everything in what comes out of you, but you have this incredibly unique identity in the way you sing. When did you start singing? Like, how did you even become interested in it?
You know, this is very interesting. Well, I think my normal vocal voice was Johnny the Boy vocals. When I was in a grunge band when I was 21, and I didn't know how to sing. I sang like that. That's how I sang until I did this little solo album. I started to find it, but it's really with Crippled. Me came out. You know, it was a comfort thing. I didn't think I could. I don't know how to speak. I don't know how to explain, but
going from the screams to singing, was it more comfortable for you to stay doing the screams?
Yes, it was, because I've never sung before. But that the screaming
when you were Stab.
With Stab, that was the screaming voice, and I'd never sung. I don't even sing in the shower, kind of thing. So, but I did some with Killing Mood, but just like for every album, I'm finding more of my voice too. You know, more like I could do like really, really like sad, angelic, or I could go really Johnny the Boy. But the mid range was.
Yeah, but that's why it's come out.
It's come out more.
Last couple of albums, it's really
it's come out more.
That kind of mid-range Susie Sue kind of thing.
Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, I just sing, I guess.
It's funny. I've heard a lot. I've heard a couple of guys tell me how difficult it was to go from doing the extreme vocals. Like Aaron Stainthorpe was talking to me about that with regards to My Dying Bride. He said the first time that he did that he did clean vocals in the band room. He had to pull a shirt over his head because he didn't want the band to look at him, because it is so much more. There's something much more vulnerable about doing it. You're presenting a part of yourself that is so much more personal and so much deeper than just doing the screams or the growls.
Yes, I agree with that very much, and also it's of course the music brings it out too, and but I'm comfortable in it now. It was either really harsh Johnny the Boy or really soft, but now I'm finding the other ranges.
Yeah, I mean it's like there's definitely more like vulnerability, because it's like it's your voice and you're hearing, especially, I mean there's one song on the new album where it's more personal than what she's done before, and she sings it in a way, I mean it just puts a lump in my throat every time I hear it, but she just sings it really from the heart, and for her I think she feels a lot more vulnerable like that. I think you go through hell with this whole process.
Yeah, because it's like I don't like I said to others, I don't show my heart on my sleeve. So for me, it was really difficult. It's like, oh my God, what have I done? When I get too personal about my feelings toward, apart from animals or politics, I really struggle, So I find it really hard. But I because you put it out, but you can't take it back. I'm like, oh, now everyone's going to know what I'm thinking, like that. It's weird.
I was going to ask why do you think that is for you? Because I can relate. I could right now. I could get on stage now and do death metal vocals, and I'd be absolutely fine with it. If somebody said get on stage and sing, I'd go no fucking way. I'd sooner try and rap before I sing.
No, I don't have any problem anymore with the singing. It's about what the song is about. If it's too personal, that's my problem, because I've never really written a lot about in how to say personal. How I feel.
Introspective.
Yes, I don't like to talk. I never talk about how I feel. I don't like it, about things. But I just like to keep things boxed up. But now I've opened some of these boxes, so that it's like I said before. Like for a lot of people, writing is therapy. You write your feelings, you write it down, blah blah blah. For me, it's the other way around, because I start opening up the boxes and I get real anxiety. I just keep it up. It's not good for you, is it? But I keep it boxed up. But I've opened it up a little bit. But I'm still like, shit, I can't send that song to my mother. What's she going to think about it? I talk about her.
Keep it deep down inside.
I mean?
Repress it. Keep it inside. Keep it balled up.
Yeah, but that's the way. That's how I am. That's just how I am. Doesn't mean I have feelings. Believe me, I have feelings, but I don't talk about myself, about my feelings. People. So,
there's always been something that I've admired, though, about people that can cross that. Because again, that's why I mentioned about the singing for myself before. I understand where you're coming from. What I have always conversely admired, if I take a singer like Mark Lanegan as an example, like a guy who's able to cross that threshold from being guarded to being just so emotionally open, that then, to your point, Justin, that is the kind of thing that'll quickly give you a lump in the throat when you hear it. Like I remember hearing a live version of Kimiko's Dream House that Greg Duley and Mark Lanegan sang together, and it's just completely, like I was speechless. Just absolutely, it's so utterly beautiful. You can't quite find the words to describe what you're hearing when you hear it the first time.
I mean, I think when you tap into the raw emotion. If you hear the raw emotion, that's what gets you. I think at the end of the day, and you can have it in extreme metal, right? I mean, there are vocalists that like extreme vocalists, but they somehow tap into the raw emotion. It's not kind of like the sort of more. I'm going to sound really really bigoted now, but there's a lot of kind of modern metal bands that are very theatrical, and it's very choreographed and staged, and the vocals are very hot on, that kind of thing. I don't name any names, but there's a lot of it nowadays. And I think there it's like, yeah, okay, whatever, technically or whatever. Sonically, there's a thing now. I think bands, they go for the sonic impact. So you hear it and you think, oh, fuck me, that's a big sound, or it sounds heavy, or whatever it is, it's extreme. But then it kind of washes over you very quickly because there's no substance. And I think a lot of the time, it might not be as impactful straight away. But if you give it the time, you hear something in it. And then that's when you get it. That's when you get like a raw emotion, I mean, even crusty punk bands, you listen to a band like Dystopia, basically a crust band, but Dino's vocals in that band, they're so extreme, and it's so harsh, but there's so much feeling in there, and you think, oh shit, this guy's feeling it, and he was feeling it, and he's had a very hard life, So I don't think it's all about like it being I mean, there is beauty in extreme music as well. I don't think it's necessarily the style of music. You don't have to be angelic and soft and twangy guitars and atmospheric. So I think it's just, it doesn't matter what it is. I think you can just hear if it's raw emotion in there. If somebody felt it when they did it, you hear.
Yes.
Talking about emotion. Only time. I mean, I love a lot of music, but that I went like, oh my God, that was Ralph Stanley. Oh death. Oh death, won't you spare me over to another year? The bluegrass old man, he's dead now. He's
Yeah.
At that. Oh my God, that's when I went. I've never.
Yeah.
That was. I was shocked in a good way. First time I've really been like.
Mm-hmm.
That was on the Oh Brother Where Art Thou soundtrack as well.
And then I went and bought his albums. Oh my God, what a voice! That's emotion.
I've always loved that movie. It always makes me feel like there's something like very escapist about that movie, like when they're lying out in the field staring up into the sky. I've always loved that aspect of the movie very much. Just as a side note.
It's Coen Brothers, so I mean, they're very, very good filmmakers.
Oh yeah. Well, it's a shame they've stepped away from the game, but I mean, I do think that movies, just as a whole, like the film industry at the moment, it's not conducive to people with their level of creativity.
Same with music, same within film industry. In fact, it's worse with the film industry, I think.
Well, the film industry, I've heard this from a couple of people now. Like the biggest issue with modern filmmaking is that it is so costly, and what you end up having is Goldman Sachs, Citibank, Bank of America all sat around a table, and then they all say, well, listen, we want this character to have this sidekick, or we want the story to, we really want a love interest for this person. It has to be this actor. We've heard they're great. And by the way, that Pedro Pascal, he seems to be really hot at the moment. We need to attach him to the project. So none of the, it's just a sad thing, but I can't see us getting the halcyon days of the 1970s. I mean, that's over. That's never happening again. And it's such a shame because every now and then I'll watch Chinatown or watch The Shining. The other day I was flying back from Mumbai and I watched The Godfather, and I was like, "Fuck, man, we will never in our lives ever see something like this. There will not be a new movie that comes out like this again."
I recently went back and just watched all the John Carpenter films, like almost back to back. I mean, he's like my favorite artistic creator because he's a musician as well, and he made most, not all, but most of the soundtracks for his films, and like a real visionary. So, and he's kept control. And I guess there's the famous sort of Frank Zappa famously talked about it. In the day where record executives were old guys in shirts and ties and didn't know what they were doing when it came to sort of the late 60s, early 70s, and said, "Okay, here's a load of money. Go and make an album." So artists, they went, and it was either a hit or a miss. And if there's a miss, they'd probably get a job, whatever. But the artists were allowed to make, and they were allowed to develop as well. So there was money there. The money went to the artists. Not it never It's never been perfect, but it was a better now. But the point is that the record executives were not in charge almost. They were in charge of the purse strings, but if you get the purse strings open, you do what you like. And so that spawned all this. I don't mean progressive as in prog rock. I mean truly progressive music where people are just trying stuff out. And look what happened. 69 to 76. The rock and roll didn't get any better than that. It was never any more creative than this. You know, you could say maybe some of the punk stuff in later or in the 80s, you know, maybe that was quite creative. But you know what I'm saying? It was so this kind of and then what happens is the next generation of record executives, they were the ones that were doing the bands in the 70s, and they think they know better. So then they start controlling things. Well, you should do it this way, you should do that way. And then the next generation is all more money orientated. And nowadays it's like, the advent of the social media and all the algorithms, forget about it. It's something completely different. So I think if you were riding the wave, we'd be kind of the little foamy bit on the beach now, you know. We missed the big thing. We missed the tunnel.
You know, you touched on something interesting there. I've always, there's been a part of me that's always tried to hold out hope that with AI and with everything being so commoditized and so mass market, that kind of like what you see in the food scene with food trucks and, you know, mom and pop owned restaurants being very, very popular, there would always be people that would want that craft type experience, that sort of bespoke, you know, artist created experience. But when it comes to music, I increasingly am not sure whether that's ever going to be the case. Like, I mean, there seems to be a groundswell of people that really couldn't care whether their music is created by AI or whether it's, you know, where it comes from. But it feels like the number of people that love music the way that the three of us probably grew up loving music is getting less, and it feels like many of those people have gray in their beards and gray in their hair. You know, how much of us are going to be around in 40 years time, you know?
Yeah. But that's, I mean, I actually think, I mean, okay, let's be like really positive here, right?
Yeah, let's make this a bit more upbeat.
Yeah. Well, you know, I actually do think the youngest generation that's into music, I mean, they're appreciating things like vinyl, they're appreciating songs. I think there is a kickback against the streaming and the social media, and, you know, because, I mean, let's say 10 years ago, I was teaching young, you know, primary school age kids how to play in bands and teach them songs. And when you ask them, well, what song do you want to play? You know, give them a choice. Well, I have this song, or what's it called? And they show you on the phone and say, who's that by? Don't know. And the kids then, they had lots of, like a playlist of songs, and they know the songs, but they don't know who it is. And they don't even know what an album is, you know, it's just a list of songs. And even after that, it got even shorter. It got like, you could only have half a song, you know, so the songs have to be short and its attention span decreases. And I thought that was really terrible. But like I said, I think there is a kickback from that. I think there's a generation now that getting to the age where they're starting to go to shows as well. And I think that's going to help. I think when these kids start to really have disposable incomes, you know, when they start working and they're going to shows and they can support the bands, I think that, you know, there may be a second wave of it, you know, we might be okay. But yeah, whether we're around by then, I have no idea. But the thing was, we live in a slightly different world anyway. I mean, I suppose that's a little bit more mainstream, you know. Alternative music world, we're always just, I mean, we kept on making vinyl albums when vinyl wasn't popular, you know. We kept the pressing plants going, and it was really difficult, you know. It's so we live in a completely different world anyway. So it's never really affected us, you know. That's the beautiful thing about what we do, right?
Well, you know, again, also as artists, how have you, if you go back to your days of working on, you know, working for Plastic Head, being in bands, how have you as a musician seen from that vantage point the industry change and the industry evolve to where it is now?
Well, I mean, obviously, it's become a lot more advertisement and money orientated. So the decisions are not so creative decisions, which is that's probably where, like, you know, we kind of struggle when it's like this. I mean, that's the only way that I've seen it going. I mean, it's only, like, say, recently, maybe there's going to be like a bit of a shift to go back to more like artistic kind of decisions. But all I've seen since I've been working at, like I said, I grew up in the record shop. I mean, my dad opened the record shop in 1976, you know. I was pretty young. But it was absolutely so different because it was more like, I mean, it's the same in all the sort of creative arts kind of industries, you know. I think everyone's feeling it, writers, you know, artists. I think there's less that you can do just for the sake of being artistic. I think you've got to factor in all these other things, you know, and now it's like algorithms and things like this. And I mean, and people are the old AI thing as well. I mean, AI in itself isn't, yeah, you could say it's a bad thing, but it's because of how humans use it, right? Inherently, if you use AI and you feed it the information and that's purely original, and you animate something with it, let's say, it's not taken from anything, you know, doesn't look like anything else. It's another form of art. It's another media. But everyone's so like, yeah, fuck AI. Well, yeah, fuck AI, but fuck it if it's like stealing ideas, if it's taking work away, if people are starting to use AI for album covers instead of artists, and they're doing it because they don't want to pay and all this kind of stuff. And yeah, it's kind of a bad thing, but that's human nature, right? It's not the AI itself. It's not the technology. If you use the technology, it can be great. If the technology uses you, it's not so good. I think that's like where we're having to find a balance, and I think that's where it's changed, you know. I think back in the day, the only technology was, you know, our music equipment. You know?
Talk about AI. Oh my God.
Oh, God.
Have you seen this band photo of us, the only one, where we're standing outside, you know?
Oh, yeah, I have.
What the fuck is this? What the fuck is this? I'm a dude, and they put an Ulva t-shirt on me. What the fuck? This is us, okay?
Well, that's actually from a band photo.
Yeah, that's a band.
Holy shit.
That's Justin with his big mop of a hair. And you can't see, but I am a dude and with an Ulva t-shirt. And they made Lucy into a dude. And where's the album cover? I mean, that is AI. What the fuck is that?
Where is this even from?
Some fucking... sorry for swearing, but... Oh, what?
Oh, yeah, no, please, on this, I'm very sensitive. Don't curse on this podcast.
I was laughing while I was really pissed off.
But even the text, there was some kind of...
I was about to say, it looks like it reads Crippled Black Phoenix.
That is me. Excuse me. That is me. Okay.
Did you shave your beard off before you came onto the podcast?
How dare AI do that to me? I mean, what the fuck?
Yeah, no, that is a bit whack.
Yeah. So there you go. There's an example of bad AI.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I'm fairly nuanced when it comes to AI. I use it at my day job. I have to. It does make you infinitely more productive. I wouldn't say it's not made my life easier. It's created the impression that I can do a lot more work than I'm already doing. Yeah, but that's a different story.
But you put the footwork in anyway. I mean, you know.
Oh yeah.
You know, we've known you for a while, and like, yeah, you see what you do, and there's less of people like you, I think, now. More honestly, this album cycle, we've had so many reviews and stuff come out that like it's just the same AI spiel in each one, and that one there was even an AI. Why they? I mean, it was a fucking band photo anyway. I don't understand why they just didn't use a photo, but for some reason they had to do the AI thing. But I think they AI'd the whole thing, the text and everything.
Oh, that is so unbelievably lame.
But then it's somebody's name at the bottom of it.
Yeah,
it's like I wouldn't put my name to that.
No, not in a million years.
10-year-olds trying it out.
But this album cycle's been a bit of an eye opener. It's like, holy shit, there is a lot of this going on now. Like a lot.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely shifted. Yeah.
I mean, there's an awful lot that I have. The longer I've done this podcast, that I've seen in the industry that I truly detest. One of them is I've mentioned this so many times on the news rant, but when it comes to the end of the year album lists, that's just a race to get as many clicks as they possibly can. So everyone starts releasing their lists in October. It's like, well, there's like at least 20, 30 more records coming out between now and the end of the year. They don't give a fuck. But then you also always see the same bands at the top of the list. And then you start digging into it more deeply. And like, there is an incentive structure there for people to treat those bands kindly, because if you don't, then the label just goes, oh well, no, we're not going to be able to invite you to our listening party in Spain. And I've just always been like, that to me is like an absolute no. I would rather have the smallest independent bands on the podcast exclusively than participate in that system in any way, shape, or form. Like, I'm doing this because I'm a fan of music. I'm not doing this because I need to make a living off this podcast.
And anyone can see that.
Yeah.
It actually goes the other way around as well. I mean, we're made to feel like, I mean, we're not really sort of a band photo. We kind of,
Oh God.
we had this thing.
It's like, cut a nice shape.
It's
Speaking, we're taking photos tomorrow, boy.
yeah, we're finally getting some photos taken, but we didn't
PR.
really have any new band photos, and it was like not really on the highest priority. But then we lost a load of press.
Yeah.
Because you have to treat the certain press right, and you've got to have a professional, and it's a certain thing that you've got to do, and there's all these guidelines and everything. It's like, I just, if you want to fucking cover the band, just cover us, but don't then complain that we ain't got any band photos. We can't get everyone together from different countries. We ain't got the money to pay professional photographers. It's just we're always in this position. It's like, yeah, okay, we'll do band photos, but like, hello, can you sort it out then? It's like,
It's sorted out.
Also, some of these, but those. I'm sure I can guess who some of the press sources are that you're talking about there right now. But again, they have delusions of grandeur. It's like their place in the world, in certainly in the music we listen to, music that's not in the mainstream, it's diminishing by the day. I know this for an absolute fact, because I've had multiple people from record labels say this to me. Like, when they have one of their bands featured on the podcast, it does more for them on Bandcamp, and it does more for them on just sales, Spotify listens, etc., than it does if they're in Decibel magazine, Metal Hammer magazine, etc. So those they'll have their place, but their importance and the level of I guess the leverage that they have over artists, that I think is going away.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that if it wasn't for the artists, the industry wouldn't exist, really.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, put really simply. So I don't understand where it also went wrong, where the artists are, it's like we're the last to be paid, we're the last to get any kind of all that kind of thing. Is like, yeah, we're not rich, we don't do this, we're not rock stars or something like that. But
I saw you chasing around with your Lamborghini Urus in the in Scarborough when I was there for Fortress. I was like, "Who's that?" And I said, "Oh, that's Justin from Crippled Black Phoenix."
my Lamborghini mountain bike. I was on my mountain bike. I went for a ride, and you were at Fortress.
Yeah, man.
I about Fortress on my mountain bike.
I'm sorry I missed you. I'm going to be at Fortress again this year, but I think you guys are. Oh no, you'll be back from your tour by then. Fortress is at the end of May.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so you'll be back.
Yeah, I'm not too far from Scarborough. I go there.
Oh, no, I'll drop you a line. We was definitely meet up in person. It'll be awesome. I noticed, by the way, you guys aren't touring in no dates in the UK on this tour.
No.
How come?
I would like to, but just can't get the fees, can't get the conditions. I mean, we're not the cheapest band. I mean, we, like I say, it's never about profit. It's all about, like, there's a lot of us. We can't travel in splitter bands because there's a lot of us. So it's like nightliner tours if we're doing a tour, or if it's like one-off gigs, we have to fly in from different places. So it's an expensive band to get together for a start. And the UK, I mean, we can get some good gigs in the UK, but it's pretty few and far between. And for whatever reason, it didn't happen on this tour, and that's probably something we should ask the booking agents about. But you know, if gigs get offered and we can do it, we do it. It's that simple. If we can't do it, if we can't afford it, we can't do it. You know, I mean, we're not going to pay to play. So
no, not you. Definitely not after 22 years, and definitely not after the last couple of records.
No, I mean, it would be nice. It'd be nice to do some soon.
Yeah.
Hopefully, fingers crossed.
Are there any plans to do another Johnny the Boy record? The smile is starting to make me suspicious.
But
Hmm.
I mean, there is one new song.
I'm not sure if the label would be interested because we haven't we've been offered gigs, believe it or not, but we're like, oh God, how are we gonna rehearse? We haven't been proactive, so to speak.
Okay.
I think, yeah. I mean, we're not. We'll do something. We'll do something, but yeah, how and when,
Well-
I'm not sure. Did you hear the Iron Monkey song that we did?
I did, yeah, very cool.
Yeah. So there you go. And we did do another song alongside that, but it hasn't been released yet. Maybe that will get released.
No. Well, I'll tell you what I would do if I were to win the Euro Millions on Friday, which I've got a lot of eggs in that basket.
Yeah.
Here's the tour I would make: Crippled Black Phoenix, Hex Vessel, Ultha.
Oh,
Absolute, you know, that would be tour of the year as far as I'm concerned, anyway.
I'll get on to
So, let them know. Well, listen, it's always such a pleasure catching up with you guys. As I may have very subtly suggested, I really enjoy the new record, and I'm looking forward to see you guys again. Oh, certainly meeting you in person, Justin, and hopefully Belinda meeting you in person at some point too.
We can
Thank
sit down
you.
and have a coffee and talk about 1980s crossover thrash metal.
Hell yeah. I'm always down with that. I have to tell you, by the way, Belinda, I can't remember whether this was the case when we spoke. I don't think that it was. I know we were talking about cats on the last on the last episode. So the number at our place has now swelled to 9 because we had 4, and then my wife took in a stray. She started to develop a bit of a belly, and we just thought, well, maybe she's just getting fat because she's been taken off the streets.
Yeah.
Turned out that she had 6 kittens. So then,
that's what happened with the Bengals mom. Exactly.
Yeah.
So Paige gave away the first one. It was too traumatic to even consider giving away the other 5.
Yeah.
So we had 10. Unfortunately, lost 2 of the elders, the 2 seniors. One was 17, the other 16. So it was horrible, but it happened. And then we got another one who was feral and was, they were going to have him destroyed. And then I knew he was coming when my wife started sending me photos, trying to warm me to the idea. And next thing you know, there he is. So we're up to 9 now.
Oh, that's right, but Justin has dwindled the numbers. I
actually lost one of mine, and I got a phone call on the way to the airport coming here.
Oh, fuck.
So it's a little bit, yeah. Yeah, they're raw still at the minute.
And Ruben's a year ago.
Yeah, but they're like a couple of the eldest,
Mm-hmm.
But it was still unexpected. So it's never easy, But,
no, we had one. So we had the mother and then the son, and the son literally we came back from South Africa after our holiday in December and January, and like we arrived back from the airport and we literally had to take him straight to the vet. It was like game over. It was one of the most fucking horrible days of my entire life.
Yeah. Well, they do that to you. These
no, sadly.
Little bastards.
Sadly.
Little bastards.
But anyway, thank you again for your time, and we will speak again at some point down the road.
Yes, and be in touch. We'll see you in Scarborough.
Awesome.
Take care now.
see me clear? Am I a liar or a fool? You cross the room in your dressing gown. Do we need a eulogy or a vow? Is this where it ends? No epitaph for a love that couldn't last. Too many cuts can't heal our wounds. How could I have been so cruel? You turn the lock and take one last glance, then close your eyes as the trigger pulls. Is this where it ends? No epitaph for a love that couldn't last. I wanna be a better man for you. Show me how we can go on. I wanna be a better man for you. Teach me how you are so strong. Now time come, you did my tomb. If I could beg, I would. Life flashes by my fading eyes, but I earned every shot you took. Yeah, I earned every shot. I wanna be a better man for you. Show me how we can go on. I wanna be a
Not exactly the cacophonous Satan-worshipping racket that I know most of you are accustomed to that follow this podcast, but nevertheless, a utterly sensational track off of one of my favorite albums of the year so far. You just heard Crippled Black Phoenix. The song is entitled No Epitaph. The coda at the end is called The Precipice, and it is taken from their new album Sceaduhelm that is available on Season of Mist right now. Make sure you check it out. Big thank you to my guests, Justin Greaves and Belinda Kordic. Great talking to them as always. Looking forward to seeing Justin when I'm up in Scarborough in a couple of weeks' time. And I hope you guys enjoyed that one too. And if it's a little on the mellow side for you, don't worry, because I'm about to serve up 2 steaming, fiery helpings of Unsanctioned Filth. We're going to start off with a premiere on the Sphere, brought to us by none other than Christbane. Christbane, of course, one of the many vehicles to feature regular Into the Necrosphere News Rant guest and Forsmán collaborator Drugoth. Their last album was entitled 666 Legion. The new one is called Antichrist. I don't believe that a release date has been set for it just yet, but either way, you're about to be amongst the very first people on God's green earth to hear the brand new track off that forthcoming record. And then straight after that, I'm going to hit you with a song by a UK band called Effect. They put out an album back in June of 2023, released that one independently. I'm going to let you hear a song by that as well, because as many of the bands that I feature on the Unsanctioned Filth segment, it is criminal to me that these guys are not yet signed. So sit back and enjoy. We kick things off, or we go up a couple of gears as far as the heaviness is concerned on this episode with Christbane. 2 servings of Unsanctioned Filth to get you fired up for the Weekly News Rant coming up in just a few minutes. You heard off the forthcoming Christbane album, Antichrist, a track entitled Subjugation, a little premiere on the Sphere. And then I followed that with a band called Affect out of the UK. The song is entitled Leading to Decay, and that is taken from their debut album, Theory of Mind. It was released on June the 2nd, 2023. For some bizarre reason, released independently. So make sure that you check that out if you haven't done so yet. You will be able to find both these bands hosted on intothenecrosphere.com. I'll also put their Bandcamp links in the description to the podcast, and you can also head there to get in touch with me if you have any questions that you would like to submit for the News Rant, if you have any demos or releases that you would like to bring to my attention. I have quite a few of you that have sent me stuff, and a few of you have been chasing. I will get to it, but I'm not going to do an entire episode of Unsanctioned Filth. So if I like it, it's on the list to be shared with the Legion. Just sit tight. It will come sooner rather than later. But yeah, you can use the website to get in touch, send questions, check out show playlists, all the music that I feature on the podcast, including on the Weekly News Rant. I have episode playlists that are hosted on the website as well. And of course, a huge shout out, as always, to the great Santelia for her fantastic work creating that website for me. If you are in the market to create a website of your own, I strongly recommend that you utilize her services. I think she is absolutely brilliant. A couple of quick reminders before we move any further. I am a member of the Horsemen of the Podcasting Apocalypse, as you should know. We bring you the finest in free, not to mention high-quality and thought-provoking podcasting entertainment from Monday to Sunday. On a Monday, we've got Brandon Legion and Horrorwolf 666. Tuesdays, yours truly, Old Jackson, brings you into the Necrosphere. I know that I said I was going to do the Crippled Black Phoenix episode as a Friday release, but life got in the way, and I actually decided it might be better to just hold back a couple of episodes, just so that I've got enough in the tank so that we don't have another disrupted week. I actually have a bunch of really exciting guests that are booked, 3 right now, in addition to the Gothram episode that's coming up next week. And then that is going to take us very nicely into Fortress Festival, busy lining up those interviews as we speak. Of course, I will be doing that Acrococker conversation at the Fortress Forum. So that's going to be a live interview. Make sure that you get there. I think they're doing it on the Saturday at 3:45. If you're going to Fortress, you can check out the Fortress Festival app. I think everything is in there. I'm also going to be talking to Winterland, and then Dominic at 3PR is busy lining up a bunch of other conversations with some of the other bands that are there. So I'll share who they are and what's happened as it gets recorded, as it's in the tank. I'm not going to commit to anything now, but keep your eyes peeled. June, July, those are going to be some fun months. End of July, of course, I'm in Bergen for the Beyond the Gates Festival, so looking forward to seeing many of you there as well. Just moving on with the Horseman schedule. On a Wednesday, we've got Everything Went Black. That's hosted by Mike Hill. We also have Iblis Manifestations, hosted by my brother from another mother, the great Cheyenne from the band Trivax. He is now offering personal fitness training, by the way. He actually works for a gym in Wales where he lives, but he does remote sessions as well. I will post a link to to his Trial by Fire website. I think he's got a website. I'll post a link to that if he has one in the description to the podcast. So, the summer is coming up here in the Northern Hemisphere. If you want to, get yourself a summer body, build some of them muscles, and not be ashamed of walking around without your shirt on. Cheyenne is the man that's going to be able to help you get that sorted. Thursdays, we've got Necromaniacs. Mike Hill returns for that. We also have on that particular podcast the Sheriff, Mike Scondotto, who this week is back by popular demand to co-host the Weekly News Rant. That's coming up in just a few minutes. Jeff Kashid, the Professor Jeff Kashid, also joins Necromaniacs routinely. And then finally on a Thursday and again on a Sunday, we've got the Sinister Minister, Carl Hikara, a favorite of Into the Necrosphere. His own podcast is Soul Knox. Make sure you don't miss that one. Already mentioned all the festivals. I've mentioned the websites, mentioned the Horsemen. Don't think there's much else to share, my friends, aside from the following absolutely critical public service announcement. If you have ever used the phrase "je ne sais quoi" in a English sentence and you're not a French person, then it's time for you to pack up, head back to the country club, but most importantly, wherever you go, make sure that you hit the bricks, because this is my weekly news rant.
A roundabout for judgment. And hang them where the world can see.
Back by popular demand, Sheriff Mike Scondotto. Nice to see you again, my man. What's been going on?
Nice to see you. Just right out of the gate, thank you for having me back again so soon. But I also just really want to shout out the listeners. I've gotten a good bunch of people just reaching out to me via Instagram or Facebook, sending me messages how much they enjoyed the last episode and enjoy having me on the show doing the news rant. And thank you all so much for that. It's really cool to hear from you guys, and always a lot of fun to be on the show. And I like talking smack, giving my perspective on things as a seasoned veteran of music. But, it's also just fun to be with you, good sir.
Yeah, no, likewise. And I like that there's started to be something quite special about Forsmán crossover episodes, not just on my podcast.
Yeah.
But it seems to me like anytime that Carl gets together with somebody, or Brandon gets together with someone, or Mike does, when we all get together and do something, people really seem to dig it. So I'm very much on board with that, and I love doing the news rant with you too, mate. So like I said to you before, you are welcome anytime you want to be on. I like doing these solo as well, but there's always good to have somebody to bounce the smack talk off of. So yes. We've got a lot to talk about this week. We're going to start off with a band called Sceaduhelm. They are a black metal crew from Finland, it says here, and they have shared the latest new preview tune, Hava, from their oncoming Necro Helios album. Haven't heard these guys before, but the album is going to be available on Immortal Frost Productions. So let's give it a spin. Right out of the gate, I know there is one thing about this that you are going to absolutely have hated, but I won't share what that is. I want to see if you offer it. What did you think of what we just heard there?
All right, I got a question for you. So that video clip is presented to the world.
Like, I knew it. I knew you were going to fucking hate it.
Like, Bands don't do this. Please stop doing this. Stop doing this. Like, okay, if you're just listening to the podcast, this band the video clip is the singer in what looks like his room with headphones and a microphone, just singing the song while he's wearing a Misfit shirt. That's the video clip. Like, what are we doing here? Like, there's no need for any of that. I'll say this. It's not terrible. It's just something reminds me of Dark Funeral a little bit, maybe. A little bit.
I mean, these guys, as I said, they're from Finland. It has a quite typical Finnish signature to me. I think it's a song that sort of functions and lives in two parts. You've got the chorus piece, it's a little bit faster and a bit more aggressive, and then you've got this verse, which I feel is a bit undercooked. It kind of feels a little bit tepid. And it's almost a slightly jarring shift after you've had quite a promising start to the song. Then we dip into that verse. It drops down to mid. It gears down a few times, and then we go back into a part that I really quite like. I think the vocal performance, video notwithstanding, is really good. And you can hear these guys have been doing it for a while. As it happens, this band has been going, according to Metal Archive, since 1998. So they're not new to the game. That's what makes that fucking video so shocking, frankly.
Yes, like don't do this, bands. Do not do this. You'll be judged for it. Someone will just think it's really silly. To me, it's just kind of background black metal. Not terrible, not great. Definitely not in the upper echelons of the Finnish greats for me, but it's, again, it's okay.
I would definitely say if you want to hear this style of black metal, particularly the style of Finnish black metal, I mean, there is no question that Horna is the band that you're going to be checking out. The last Horna album was absolutely masterful, and it takes a dump on this from tall heights. I don't hate it at all, but the band have been doing this now for, and I did a quick count on Metal Archives, 14 albums.
That's
14 albums. Again, you'd expect a better music video than that. That's for damn sure.
Yeah,
and actually, the song itself, I think, it doesn't feel like a band that's been doing it for this long.
No, it's just basic for me.
Yeah.
My cat Amy is literally moving my computer with her head. It is the funniest thing ever. She's insane today. Because
thought you were going to say after hearing that song, after seeing the video, she's aiming for the litter box.
Maybe she liked it. I don't know. I'm not sure, but yes.
I wanted to mention something before we go on to the next song. I finally finished watching Alien Earth. I thought the series started off stronger than it ended. There were a few characters in the show that would have benefited from a swift death, I feel.
Yeah.
In particular, I think his name is Joe, that fucking weedy dork who's the main character's brother. Couldn't stand the sight of him. I mean, I hate him as much as I hate. Is his name Huey, the guy from The Boys?
Yes. Well, you don't like him? Actually, I mean, I love him on The Boys. Huey on The Boys is great.
I'm not a fan of The Boys. I'm not a fan of, especially not a fan of Huey. But yeah, so I think there's and I'm, spoiler alert, so skip ahead by like 5 minutes if you don't want to hear this. I didn't like the mechanic of being able to, of Wendy being able to communicate with the alien. I thought it was fucking lame. It's not quite as bad as Predator Badlands, where the alien talks and learns how to feel love, but it's still not. It takes away some of the mystery and some of the threat of the monster.
I like the cool use of music. Did you like that?
Yeah, that I did, absolutely. There's a lot about the show that I really, really enjoyed. But it was like it started off with so much promise, and then it just kind of it almost it's like it gets too clever for its own good.
Yeah, it did kind of start stronger than it ended. I didn't like hate the ending, but it's funny. Some people, I read this interesting review where it said showing the alien so much and showing it like outside kind of
Yes.
demystifies the alien creatures.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
I agree with that.
Okay. It didn't make me like hate the show or anything, but yes, it takes you a little out of what you're familiar with in the alien lore, but at least it's something different or uncharted territory. So I'm there for season 2.
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to season 2 as well. But I definitely think having the alien, walking around outside quite casually, actually, in some scenes.
Yes.
I don't know whether that was the smartest idea. I also watched His and Hers on Netflix, which was so atrocious that I immediately watched The Night Of after that, and then I lamented the fact that why can they no longer make shows that are as strong as I don't know whether you watched The Night Of.
Yes, it was good. Yeah, that was really good.
Why do they not make shows like that anymore?
It has been a minute. I will say this though, HBO puts out great stuff still. I'm really enjoying this final Euphoria season.
I can probably guess the reason why.
Yes, well, there's one big reason, but the rest of the show was great too. I'm a big Sydney Sweeney fan.
I'm an admirer of her work. I'm an admirer of her parents' work, quite frankly, too.
She is top notch, as Jackie would say, kids.
I think so.
But the show is great. It's to me almost has like these weird grindhouse vibes in this particular season, which I'm enjoying. But they also did Task last year, which I thought was great on HBO.
That's on my list of things to watch. Yeah,
these miniseries kind of things that are really cool. But yeah, The Night Of, it has been a minute since that kind of crime kind of thing has happened. But His and Hers, I think a coworker was talking about how much she liked it, and I don't think it's.
I'd run into the wall until I pass out from blood loss before I watch it again. That's how fucking bad it was. Task, though, 100% want to put on the list. And we actually watched the first 2 episodes of The Penguin last night.
Oh, that's great. No, Penguin's awesome.
Thoroughly enjoyed that. You know what's interesting about The Penguin is you can see in every single scene that Colin Farrell is enjoying the shit out of playing that character.
Oh, totally.
Like I've rarely seen an actor just relish every single moment that he's on screen quite like that.
Strap in. It gets pretty hard, and it ends really hard. So yeah, you'll enjoy it.
Oh, fucking brilliant. Can't wait. All right, more music. Madball to release Not Your Kingdom album. Talk about it being a minute since somebody did something. Madball's last album was 2018. It says, American hardcore act Madball has announced the release of their next full-length effort, Not Your Kingdom, which will be released on July the 24th through Nuclear Blast Records. To taste a first piece of the new music, check out a music video for Rebel Kids. We're going to listen to it in just a second, but just to say, Madball was my gateway band into New York hardcore. I bought Set It Off on spec when I was about 14 or 15 years old, and I fucking absolutely loved it. And then that got me into Sick of It All, Agnostic Front, the first Biohazard albums.
Nice.
So I've always had a very soft spot for Madball. But by the same token, I cursed the day that Freddie ever shook Tim Armstrong's hand and said, I would like you to produce my band's album, because I thought For the Cause was dog shit. I don't know if he's involved in the production of this record.
He's not.
Okay, which is good. But anyway, let's hold that thought and let's hear what Rebel Kid sounds like.
People kind of know in my own way where I stand. don't follow trends. Not when I was coming up. We questioned everything, seems that's coming to an end. Everything is bottom up. It's so easy to offend. I'm not playing by those rules. I know who's next to take. I'm not a damn fool. I play by my own rules. Let live and show respect. I guess I'm old school. You wear rebellion like it's fashion, and life is just a stage. I live my words, I'm no attraction. I'm full of passion and rage. Let me hear your voices say, I've been led astray, been led astray. Let me hear your voices say, I've been led astray, been led astray. Silence your voices. I've been led astray, been led astray. I can hear your voices say, I'm not built that way.
It's good timing that we're doing the news rant together, because I am very curious to hear what you think of this. As a someone who's down for the core and who's been in the scene for a very long time, what are your
Yes.
thoughts on that?
I just want to say shout out to my buddy Paul, who's the new bassist for Madball. Paul
Oh,
Delaney
well done.
from a band called Black Anvil, who many listeners might be familiar with.
Fuck yeah, you're right.
And
I've had Paul Delaney on the podcast.
yeah, that's right. And yeah, he's officially like in the band. He's a dear friend of mine, and he was in the long running hardcore band Kill Your Idols from Long Island. So happy to see Paul part of Madball. I'll say this: it's melodic, and it's a different Madball song, and I actually give them credit for doing something a little different. There is a very tasty, heavy part in the song that we didn't get to because it's a little further along, like a moshier kind of part, which I like. Again, I don't think you can just keep doing the same thing over and over and over in hardcore, although obviously some bands do. You have to kind of spread your wings a little. I actually think it's a solid song. Is it a typical Madball song? No. I do want to hear the rest of the record. I bet you there's going to be some straight, solid fucking hardcore on it, obviously. But I choosing this as a single is, it's interesting. Like, I don't know. I give him credit in a way for doing something different. I have seen some people complain about this song online. And then I've seen people absolutely love it, kind of like a mixed bag. But again, really want to hear the whole thing and not really judge it by this first track, which again is a different swing from Madball. What do you think?
Well, I mean, I speak as a longtime Madball fan. I did not enjoy it. I feel like they started going down a track with For the Cause that it feels like I can't really put my finger on what has gone wrong. I don't know whether Freddie has gone through a midlife crisis. I don't know whether he is just not he's just not as into that style of hardcore, the style of hardcore that Madball is known for. Yeah. There was, one or two bright spots on For the Cause. Es tu vida, as an example, fucking brilliant song. I mean, if they did a whole entire album just filled with Spanish hardcore, I'd be more than happy. But yeah, it's I just don't I don't feel the song. It doesn't carry that same threat. It doesn't carry the same aggression, the same manliness as my favorite Madball albums. All of the reasons why we were talking last time you were on about how great Terror is, I kind of feel like that's absent from here. And if I were to define, my favorite Madball moments, I mentioned Set It Off, demonstrating my style, start to finish, absolutely incredible. But I mean, they continue to be very good and consistently excellent. I'd say all the way up to and including Empire. Hardcore Lives, it kind of starts to fall off a little bit, and then For the Cause, we're just not quite there anymore. But I mean, you go back to Infiltrate the System, for example, that opening track, We the People, that is fucking sick. They've got a bunch of other really, really cool tracks on that album. It's sad for me that it feels like he's just not as excited by that style of hardcore as he once was, which I understand as well. If you've been doing it for as long as they've been doing it, I get it.
I liked Empire and Infiltrate. Those were two really solid records. One of my favorite Madball records is Look My Way, actually. I actually really like that.
Also a very, very good album.
From 98. Yeah, again, gonna see what the rest of it sounds like. And that's I try not to judge a whole record based off a single, because a lot of times, like, a single sometimes isn't even the best choice for the first song for the people to hear off a record. That happens. Like, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes a single is the best song, and sometimes it's like, oh wow, they probably shouldn't have went with that single. You know, you never know.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I mean, it's coming out on July 24th, as I said. I will certainly listen to the whole thing when it gets released. But I'm just not as excited about it as I would, as I otherwise feel like I should be when it comes to Madball, given the regard in which I hold that band.
Okay, fair enough, brother.
All right, now we got a couple of questions. There's one in particular that I think is super interesting. So somebody named Cat Willow sent me a really lovely message on Instagram. Just want to say, firstly, that the message, she was just talking about really enjoying the podcast for the last several years, and she mentioned a few things that she had discovered through the show. So first, I want to say, absolutely made my day, probably more than she realizes. And then she's done she's come up with a game, which is basically having to choose between two songs. So you may know some of these songs, you may not. I have one actually that I want to do with you that ties into this. But if you know it, shout out your selection. If not, just say pass. But the first one that she gives us here, Mysterium, Engen Verkoon is the name of the song, or Darvaza, Silence in Heaven. Do you know either of those two tracks?
I only know Mysterium, and I like them. They're pretty cool. So I don't know the other band. So
and Engen Verkoon 1000% wins that, because it's one of the best black metal songs I think of the last 20 years. Darvaza is fucking excellent, and I think you will really, really enjoy them. So definitely something to check out. Panzerfaust, the Damascene Conversions versus Blaze of Perdition, Detachment Brings Serenity.
Pass. Two bands that have completely eluded me.
Panzerfaust, I go with. The Damascene Conversions, another band that I think you should check out. Blood aus Nord, our Blessed Frozen Cells versus Ecclese, the Mask of Night Speaking.
Oh boy, I'm going to upset some people. Two bands that put out the sleeping bag for me. So yeah.
Oh my God! All right, for me, Ecclese, the Mask of Night Speaking. I knew that you wouldn't be down with that. Now she's got some classics here as well. Type O Negative, Red Water, or Paradise Lost, Enchantment.
Oh my God, that's a
tough one.
Oh my God. I'm going to give an answer today. I'm going with Type O today, Brooklyn guy.
I'm going to go with Paradise Lost, but I would say if that choice was between Type O Negative, Gravity, or possibly the song The Dream Is Dead, I think I would have gone for those. Paradise Lost.
Yeah, if it was with this Type O song that I'm not all that crazy about, like I don't like Wolf Moon I don't really like that song.
I quite like that track.
It's all right. Yeah, it would really depend on the Type O song. I mean, there's a bunch on Life Is Killing Me that I don't like at all. So yeah.
Yeah, see, I'm a big fan of Life Is Killing Me, huge fan of that album actually. But the song Life Is Killing Me, I fucking love. Anesthesia, I really like. The song the Dream Is Dead. Oh, what a track! All right, here's one: Dissection, Night's Blood versus Emperor, The Burning Shadows of Silence.
Dissection.
Emperor, every day of the week,
okay.
Twice on Sunday.
Okay.
I've got one classic death metal for you and one hardcore. So these are albums though, not songs.
Okay.
So Dear Side, or Morbid Angel, Altars of Madness.
God. I've been on a tremendous Deicide kick. Today's answer is Deicide.
Yeah. No, I mean, for me, absolutely no question. It's Deicide. I love Altars of Madness. I fully recognize what it meant to the scene, how innovative it was. It is an evil sounding album, but Deicide is more evil sounding. It is one of the most convincingly angry, aggressive, violent records ever recorded. To me, it is peerless. It's in terms of the impact on me as a listener, as a young, fledgling death metal fan when I heard it the first time. It's just something I can go back to again and again and again, and I never get tired of it. I always seem to find things about the album that I love, almost like I'm discovering it for the first time every time I switch it on.
That's me with like Once Upon the Cross lately. But here's the thing. My favorite Morbid Angel record is Blessed Are the Sick. It's not Altars of Madness.
Mine too.
Mine is Blessed Are the Sick.
Mine too, 100%. And my favorite song of that album, which I think it is criminal that they don't play it more or live more often, is The Ancient Ones. Dude, if you I'll send you the YouTube link after this. But if you dig around, there's a live version somewhere on YouTube where they did it back in like 1991. And just the amount of fucking aggression and passion coming from that band, like you really get, because obviously I wasn't around to see those shows and to see what was going on at the time, but you really get why they made such a big impact when you see them perform at that time. You see them perform that song. It's just fucking amazing.
The thing is, some people complain about the production of Blessed Are the Sick, but I think it's fine. I mean, I think his vocals are insane. The variation on his vocals on that album are fucking amazing. The riffs, there are just tons of riffs. Those interludes are fucking unreal. Like, I've never even really heard a lot of death metal bands do that kind of shit. Like, Necros Christos kind of did it a bunch on a record. For some reason, the name is Doom of the Occult. Ever fuck with that record?
No.
Oh, you got to check out Necros Christos, Doom of the Occult. Unbelievable with the interludes in between the songs. But yeah, Blessed Are the Sick is my jam. Deicide, though, I've just been, after seeing them the other week, like, it just, they're the gods, man.
That's the best thing. If you've seen a band live and you immediately want to go back and check out the whole back catalog again, it's like that's when you know you've seen a great show. All right, I'm going to give you we've got 3. This is the final one, so you can choose one out of the following 3. One of the selections I know you'll definitely not choose, but although you might surprise me, we'll see. All right, you got Sick of It All, Blood, Sweat, and No Tears. You've got Gorilla Biscuits, Start Today, and then you've got Biohazard, Urban Discipline.
Biohazard gets immediately eliminated. Start Today and Blood, Sweat are 2 of the greatest New York hardcore albums, and to me, 2 of the greatest hardcore albums. Today's answer is Blood, Sweat. That's today's answer.
Urban Discipline is my I have no question.
You're a youngin'. That's because you're young. That's why you like that record. Joe from Inhuman, my guitarist, and Silver Tomb, he's 4 years younger than me. So he always has kind of different answers about hardcore than I do, because it's 4 years isn't huge, but it's big enough with hardcore.
Yeah, I mean, I really those albums I mentioned there, I like all of them very much. But man, I've got such a soft spot for Urban Discipline. And where my love for Biohazard came from was not from hearing the albums; it was from seeing them live. They went from being a good band that I enjoy listening to from time to time to being just like a band that, if you go through my most frequently listened to tracks or albums in probably any given year for the last 20 years, Biohazard is going to feature in there at some point, and it is from seeing them live.
The thing is, that is their best record, and that is a great record.
Yeah.
But, for me, who, grew up with Gorilla Biscuits and Sick of It All, seeing them at CBGB's when I was a teenager, it's hard to beat that. But I did see Biohazard as a teenager too, for like the demo. I was at the demo release show of Biohazard in 1989, and I bought the cassette demo, and I was there when the full length came out, and I was there when Urban came out, and I saw all of that too. But again, like the CBGB bands always just won for me,
Yeah. My friend Diorcifer, when he was tattooing me, he was telling me about those early Biohazard shows, and he said those are the only shows he's ever been to where he says you literally felt afraid for your life. That's how he describes it to me, and he's a fucking big dude.
Yes, I know.
So if he says that, like, I take it seriously.
Their shows were pretty great at Lemoore. They were pretty awesome in like 89, 90. Into like the early 90s. Yeah, they were amazing live. Absolutely.
One of the shows I saw them play, they came on and they started with what's the first song off the first album?
Punishment?
Retribution.
Oh no, the first song on the first album. Wrong Side of the Tracks? Is it Wrong Side of the Tracks?
No. The first album is the self-titled album. The song is called Retribution. I think, if memory serves me correctly, they started with that, and then Evan yelled out, we're just playing songs off the first 3 albums tonight, and holy Jesus, the next hour and a half was just bedlam. Absolute fucking bedlam. Okay, right, let's get on to some music again. Xenosis have unleashed a new track. Sea of Teeth is the new advanced single from progressive tech death metal band Xenosis. It is taken from their soon-to-be-released studio record, Hermetic Transmutation, and it has premiered online. This is another Transcending Obscurity signing, one of many, no doubt, that will come out this year. Let's hear what it sounds like.
Not into it. It just could be anybody, any song, any band. There's nothing that original there. There's nothing interesting. It's just background, modern kind of techie death metal. Sorry.
I think in 2026 it is inexcusable to write, and I don't know whether I'm not musically inclined enough to be able to give you like the actual musically correct name for it, but those riffs, you'll understand when I when I express it to you in a second. It's like dun 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 dun. Anything like that in 2026, it to me it's unacceptable. That is the kind of thing that maybe you could get away with writing in 1992. It started to get a little tedious around 1996. The fact that there's still people in 2026 putting out songs with that style of riffing, to me, is fucking mind-boggling, especially when you think about where the death metal genre is right now in terms of some of the bands putting out stuff. I mean, you could just go down the list. We spoke about some of the old-time masters. All of their new albums, for better or worse, sound way better than that. Dying Fetus. I mean, even like the more dissonant stuff like Nightmare. I mean, you just can't compare to that fucking slop we just heard now.
Yeah, it is kind of like slop. I mean, there's definitely a fan base for that, but I don't know. Like the other day, I listen to music a lot when I'm taking a shower, by the way. Okay.
Yeah.
Taking a shower, I'm coming out of the shower. I'm listening, and I've got like a Dark Throne kind of mix going on, right? Transylvanian Hunger comes on, and I'm really paying attention to the bass line in Transylvanian Hunger. Most of the bass line in that song is 2 notes. It's doing 2 things. And it really kind of dawned on me how much they did in that song. And the guitar player is doing a little more than that, like obviously, but it's so minimal and packs such a punch, right? And then I just think about how even like death metal, like a classic Obituary song, or like you can do so much. I almost feel like with so little. Like Bolt Thrower was very good at that too. I felt like in certain albums, with just riffing based around certain notes, And it's like that's why some of the tech stuff always gets lost on me, because I feel like you can't hum a song. Like how does that stay with you? Like like. I don't know. Maybe I'm old, but I am old. So
no, yeah. I think you're right. The thing is, that's to me why a band like Werewolves are so great, because what Matt does exceptionally well is he'll play highly technical riffs, but they're all very memorable. Like you can't ever sacrifice memorability so that you can show how well you can play your instrument. And then coming back to what you said before about Obituary, I mean, they were, particularly on those earlier records, they are the masters of being incredibly effective through simplicity.
Yeah.
And I do think there is something to be said about that. As a you might not be somebody who, if you go to NAMM and you stand on stage and everyone wants to see who can play the best solo, you're probably not going to be the winner of that of that contest. But when it comes to writing a riff that sounds vicious and fucking menacing and nasty, I would take the main riff on Killing Time off the Incomplete over that crap we just heard now any day of the week. It's just this. There's no comparison,
dude. It's so weird that we have such similar tastes and thoughts. You know what I was literally just thinking of right now? The song "Final Thoughts" by Obituary.
Oh, fucking what a track!
It is fucking amazing.
Yeah.
And then I just thought of those first 2 or 3 6 Feet Under records, which I fucking love. And the riff writing on those, particularly the first record. I'm sorry. Alan West.
Great.
Fucking genius, legend of death metal. Riff writer extraordinaire. Responsible for a lot of the Obituary bangers, by the way. I don't know. There's just something about, again, really good simplicity and a riff and a song that stays with you that fucking makes you want to break your house down. I'll take that over some wank any day, like some tech wank, overly produced, overly whatever, any day.
Well, dude, I mean, can you get a song that's more simplistic than Final Thoughts? I mean, it's one note for the first 2 minutes of the track.
There's something about it. Like, I don't know, man. That it worked. That shit just works for me. Like, I don't know.
I've never been able to understand why Will Demise gets as much hate as it does. I was already a fan of Obituary when that record came out. My gateway into Obituary was the Incomplete. Then I got Cause of Death and Slowly We Rot. And then, a couple of months later, Will Demise came out. And it was different, but I thought it was fucking great. I think that John Tardy's voice on that record sounds superb. I think the production still holds up to today. It's different, but it's not so far removed that if you dug the Incomplete, you would listen to it and go, "I'm completely lost here. This sucks."
Well, there are mild, or maybe not, maybe more than mild hardcore influences on World Demise, but I think they work quite well.
Agree.
Mixed with the obituary death metal. It's not a perfect record, but it is a great record, and one could argue it's like their last great record for a while in a weird way. Then they break up and they come back, and new Obituary to me is very enjoyable, but there was a moment in time there I wasn't super into some of the records, but the first 4 Obituaries are like mandatory in my opinion. So
you can call me a stan, but I actually do like Back from the Dead. I think Frozen in Time has got some fucking great songs on. Particularly, I think the song is called Slow Death. Yeah, Slow Death is magnificent. And then Executioner's Return. To me, that was the last truly excellent Obituary album. And it was made excellent in part because of Ralph Santola being on. I thought he added a huge amount to Obituary sound, much as he did during his brief time in Deicide. That guy, by the way, if ever there was a dude who I wished I could get on the podcast, and there's quite a few, World Dane is one, but I interviewed Ralph when he had just joined Deicide, and what a character and what a fucking great guy. I was really sad when he passed away.
Yeah, rest in peace to him, and rest in peace to Frank Watkins of Obituary. Frank Watkins, a little fun fact, managed my band Inhuman for a while, actually.
Oh, wow.
After around the time of our 4th record, Last Rites. He managed us for about a year. He was actually managing Marauder at the same time. And he was such a nice guy, man. He was really cool. And I was really bummed when he died. Rest in peace, Frank.
You always come out with all these surprises, like you know this person, you're connected to this guy.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Let's see if you can throw up a surprise. Yeah, Anthrax premiere their new single, ominously entitled "It's for the Kids." It says, Anthrax have released a music video for their new single titled "It's for the Kids." The new song marks the band's first new music in a decade and the lead track from their upcoming 12th studio album, Cursum Perficio. That is due out on September the 18th via Megaforce Records in North America and Nuclear Blast in Europe. I don't know whether I've butchered the pronunciation of the album title, but either way, being a New York man, are you a fan of Anthrax?
I love Spreading the Disease and Among the Living and little bits of Persistence of Time and State of Euphoria. But to me, it's really all about 2 albums, Spreading the Disease, Among the Living. Fantastic albums. Did not like the John Bush era at all. And new era Anthrax, I don't even think I've given a fair shot. This will be my first time hearing this song. I've heard good things about this song, so I'm excited to hear it.
We'll listen to it in just a second, but let me give you a primer on my metal bad take when it comes to Anthrax. Like we were talking about bad takes last time. I think that John Bush ran circles around Joey Belladonna, and here's the extent to how deeply I believe that. I had the good fortune to meet John Bush when they toured London in, I believe this was 2003. I saw them play live. And so anyway, at that point, I'd kind of lost interest in Anthrax. My entryway into the band was Among the Living, and then I got State of Euphoria, Persistence of Time. I really enjoyed Sound of White Noise when it came out, but the Sound of White Noise gave way to death and black metal, and then I kind of didn't pay much attention anymore. So met John to interview him for Chronicles of Chaos. I kind of did it as a favor to the rep for Nuclear Blast, who asked me, can I come and do it? So I was hanging out there by myself afterwards, realized that the Astoria was completely empty and that actually I could, get a spot right up front if I wanted to stay. So I thought, let me just stay and check out 2-3 songs by the band. Fucking loved it. I thought it was such an incredible show. So next year they played, went back again. The show is even better. They did an encore that consisted of a cover of Run to the Hills and then a cover of Whiplash. And I swear to God, that fucking building very nearly caved in. People went so nuts. It was magnificent. So 2005 rolls around, and I think it's 2005 or 2006. I got an invite to attend the Metal Hammer Golden Gods Awards and had no real interest in going, barring the fact that Anthrax were playing. By that point, Joey Belladonna had returned to the band, but I thought, how bad could this be, really? I enjoyed Among the Living very much. It's a shame John is gone, but let's see what Joey is like. I left after the first half of Court Namash. I was like, this is so fucking terrible. I am done. I can't be here anymore. And I just left.
Wow.
So, so that's my general thoughts on Joey Belladonna. I don't like his vocals. I think the band are dreadful without him. And live with John, they were a fucking force. And with Joey, not so much. But anyway, so with that as the background, let's hear It's for the Kids for the first time.
I'm sticking to the plan, never improvise. Cut off all the tax fans, I cross the line. Empathy is weakness, and I don't give a shit. An economy of aggression, no throne left unslit. It's for the kids, be your repair. You with me nothing, just get thought to press. You never change, one goddamn thing. Your thoughts and prayers mean nothing. I don't need answers, I just won't blame. I point the finger and plug in a name. You make it easy by showing your cards. Down by nature, shaped by nature, it's your fucking heart. It's for the kids, be your repair. You with me nothing, just get thoughts and prayers. You never change, one goddamn thing. Your thoughts and prayers mean nothing. It's for the kids, be your repair. You with me nothing, just get thoughts and prayers. You never change, one goddamn thing. Your thoughts and prayers mean nothing.
What do
I
you think?
like it. I like it. It's good. Joey's voice sounds really good. I mean, unless there's some amazing studio doctoring going on, his voice sounds pretty goddamn good for a much older gentleman. It's catchy. It's fast. It's way better than I thought it was going to be. And the video, okay, if you're just hearing the podcast, we're watching the video. 40 years ago exactly, Anthrax dropped the Madhouse video, which is, I'm sure a lot of listeners have seen this video. They're in like an old insane asylum, and there's the straitjackets and the crazy people and the walls of amps. Well, they did it again with this music video, which I actually think is a very cool callback 40 years later. So that also gets a thumbs up from me. So I liked it.
You are absolutely correct about Joey Belladonna being an older gentleman, by the way. Guess how old he is?
65.
You are 100% correct.
Yeah. Wow.
65, dude. I mean, that's pension age. That's when you go. That's when you retire over here.
Bro, his voice sounds way better than Dave Mustaine's, doesn't it? I mean, think about that.
I completely agree. Look,
Yeah.
I have no doubt that there was some studio doctoring done there. On these headphones, you can kind of hear that I don't really care about that so much. I'd dread to think what it would sound like live, but if the end result sounds good, then the end result sounds good. It's not, there's not overt auto tuning being deployed there, so I can live with that. Sadly, however, I think his voice is probably the only highlight of the song for me.
Mm.
I don't like the riffing. I think it's I think it's completely unimaginative, and it's a shame coming from a guy like Scott Ian, who could in 24 hours put together an absolute masterpiece like Speak English or Die, and 10 years, having 10 years to himself to write this record, wasn't able to do something that comes close. The other thing that I really don't like about the song is the gridlocked, monotonous drum line. Now, Charlie Benante, again, he is a fantastic drummer. There's no doubt about that.
Yes, he is.
There's something that is so mechanical and produced about the drumming here, and there's no space for the drums to actually breathe, and for some sort of for there to be any kind of groove. This could easily be something that somebody just programmed, and no one would be any the wiser.
It's weird you say that about the drums. I said the same exact thing about New Megadeth, where it's like it sounds like the drums just sound like a typewriter or a machine. But that's new metal, and not new metal, the horrible genre. That's just new metal, bro. And that's just what bigger sized bands sound like now. I almost feel like okay, the drum sound in like the new Dark Throne is really cool because they on purpose want it to sound natural. When you're dealing with bands from the Big Four or like your Testament or your Exodus, I think they want it to sound as processed as possible. I almost feel like, I don't know why they do, but they do. They want.
I agree with you on all except for Testament. I do think with Testament there's still that leans more towards extreme metal, the Testament drumming, whereby the drummer is all over the place. There's rolls, fills. He sounds like he's got something to say. But absolutely agree with you. Megadeth had the same problem. There's no question that Metallica's last couple of records have suffered from the same issue.
And it's just I almost feel like I got to let that go. Again, I don't know. I actually thought it was a catchy song, and I'm hearing it through your computer. Like I haven't even heard it. So I need to perhaps later today just put it on my Spotify and my headphones and really hear it. I just heard it through this video through the show. So yeah. I don't like the album title. It's a dumb title. When you do something in another that's it's a weird ass title. But the album cover is cool actually. And I'm curious to hear the rest, as they say. I feel like I say that a lot when I hear a new single. I don't know. It was better than I thought it was going to be, Jackie.
By the way, just on the album title, apparently it is translated to "My journey has come to an end," or "My journey is over," or "I complete my journey." They have apparently insisted that it's not the end of the road for them. But I mean, you have to also question if they take 10 years to do a record, then Joey be 75 come the new album or the next record. It is highly unlikely that that's going to be something that sees the light of day, I would imagine.
Well, it's funny. 2 years ago, both Depeche Mode and Marduk, two bands that I love, dropped an album with the same title, Memento Mori, which also has a weird connotation to it, but is not the last Marduk record. Some people have speculated it might be the last Depeche Mode record, but although they have not said that either. So, yeah, sometimes the title can be very tricky.
I definitely don't think it'll be the last Marduk album.
No.
And by the way, I've got a very exciting Marduk-related guest coming up the next couple of weeks. It is. I'll tell you afterwards. I don't want to say because, as I've mentioned before on the news rant, I'm fucking superstitious. So when I've got somebody great that's booked, I am terrified of saying who it is because I know it'll be cancelled. But it's booked in and due to happen on the 27th of May, the evening before I go to Fortress. So I'll tell you afterwards who it is. People are going to fucking dig at those. No question about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fanatic.
Oh yeah, no, dude. Same, yeah. Absolutely fucking love them. Let's go for a quick question before we move on to another song. Dizzle Van Holtren has asked, when evaluating albums for your best of list, what method or criteria do you use? For example, before streaming an album, it would sit in my CD player for a week. I always felt a week of listening was a decent amount of time to digest and evaluate an album. So, what criteria do you use when you pull together your favorite releases of the year, or just generally speaking, when you listen to an album?
Honestly, like it's the replayable factor and the catchiness factor and the wow, there's something to like 6-7 tracks in factor. Like, you know what I'm saying? You know, my last 2 years have been tricky. If you've paid attention, Jackie, I did not post 2024 and 2025 favorite albums. Perhaps I will this year. But like sometimes you just know when you hear it, you could be midway through the year. Oh yeah, this is like a top 3 record. This is a top 5 record, you know? But there's no super technical criteria other than, is it a banger? Is it top to bottom a banger record? And lately, that doesn't happen like a hell of a lot. Like like that last Paradise Lost record, I think is just loaded with gems. And it's just such a really good record, you know? And the Memento Mori Marduk record, I thought was very strong. But I don't know. The last Satanic War Master LP, I really liked. I thought it was fucking amazing. But they never put out bad records for me. So,
yeah, I think replayability. To your point, I think that's probably one of my biggest criteria. I mean, frankly, it's how much do I enjoy it? How often do I feel compelled to go back and listen to it? How often did I listen to it? And this is applicable to when I start putting my or calibrating my best of list of the year. You know, how often did I feel compelled to go back and listen to it? How often did I play the record? The other thing that I do, and I have mentioned this before, once I have my top 30 list decided on, then I create a playlist with only those 30 albums, and then I just I just keep listening to that over and over again. Something I did this last year that I thought was quite, it was quite an interesting thing to do. I put it on shuffle, and then you'll hear like a Paradise Lost song, and then you'll hear I can't remember, a Scour song. And so having that sort of direct, you know, comparison one after the other, that actually helped a little bit with my calibration as well. But yeah, it's basically that. There's no magic formula to it. It's what did I enjoy most? Scour was very highly rated because I think it is a fucking magnificent record, and I keep on going back to it.
Quick aside, tonight, actually, I'm going to a show. I'm going to see Antichrist Siege Machine and Negative Plane. Are you familiar with Negative Plane?
I am, yeah.
Oh, yeah, they're great.
Yeah.
New York band, fucking love them. All 3 albums of theirs are amazing. Their last full length was fucking The Pact, was fucking awesome. So that should be a fun time tonight. They play like locally only like every 2 years or so, Negative Plane, even though they're from New York. They never like overplay live. Yeah. So last time they played was about 2 years ago.
Let me ask you a question. When you go to shows, does your lovely partner accompany you?
Yes, we are going tonight. Yes, tonight. Not all the time, but yes, tonight.
Yeah, no, I when it comes to my wife, the music, I think literally does all sound like white noise to her. But bless her, she does she does suffer through Fortress and Beyond the Gates for me, and she always you know she'll make an effort to at least seem partway interested. What I will say is, if she, based on the fact that she doesn't know or like or grew up with the music in any way, shape, or form, when she points out that a band was really good, then you know that they turned in a fucking hell of a performance. The 3 exceptions that she has mentioned so far, she thought that Mysterium and Gehenna were both excellent at last year's Beyond the Gates. And then a couple of years prior to that, she thought that Garia were really good as well. This was, of course, before Garia decided to destroy the goodwill and potential that they had built up and turn into just a fucking absolute wimps poser black metal band.
I'm jealous you got to see Gehenna. That girl.
Oh, dude. It was fucking absolutely fantastic. Yeah. And being as involved in that whole reunion as I was, that obviously made it even better. So, Okay, let's listen to some more music. Forsmán reveal a new track. Icelandic black metal band Forsmán have released a new single entitled Drotin Fyrirgefur Altek. Apologies to everybody in Iceland. I know I fucked that up. The track serves as the opening track from the band's debut full-length album, Brendar Rooster, and I'm not even going to bother trying to pronounce the rest of it. It is set for release on June the 26th via Vesperian. I do love me some Icelandic black metal, though, so let's hear what it sounds like. Fucking hell! That I was starting to worry this week. It was dry as a bone, but that is tier 1 top notch.
That was pretty good. Okay,
absolutely excellent.
This is a weird reference. That whole guitar beginning sounded like Greg Ginn doing late era Black Flag stuff. It just sounded so strange. Like it was just like, I don't know if you're familiar with Black Flag, the later half, where it gets very bizarre guitar-wise, some of it. And that's what it reminded me of. And then it goes into like black metal. I thought that was very interesting.
I actually thought you were about to say the first Dillinger Escape Plan album. That's what I thought.
That's okay. That's kind of the bridge to that, actually.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you're a big Black Flag fan and you're happy to be listening and you heard that beginning of the song, you might be nodding your head in agreement going, okay, I kind of hear that. But yes, it's also like Dillinger Escape Plan-y, especially the earlier kind of material. It almost doesn't fit the song, but it was interesting.
You know what I have noticed of some of the elite tier Icelandic black metal bands is when they play a show, like Mysterium always do this. So when they play a live show, everything is there's a theme and an idea and kind of a very intentional presentation from start to finish, and you can tell that the songs were written to accommodate that. I kind of get the impression that that's what they were going for here as well. They kind of want that sort of noisy chaos, way to start a show. And then we at about 30, 40 seconds in, we shift gears and things start, business starts to pick up. When business does pick up on that song, it is fucking
it was
outstanding.
Cool. Definitely cool.
Sick vocals, killer riff. Everybody sounds like they're on fire, on top form. No, I fucking love that. That is really, really good stuff. And out on June the 26th, for anybody that was paying attention and felt about that the way I did, that's definitely getting the first top notch of this week. Cool. All right. I think we're at about the hour mark, sir. And funnily enough, I don't have a swirly this week. I can talk about how much I hate Tom Morello and how much I despise the UK government, but that's par for the course. There's no one in the comments section or anywhere that has pissed me off so much this week, or on Is It Sketch, that they deserve to face the Porcelain Bowl of Reckoning. So the Porcelain Bowl stays unflushed this week, but I am watching. I'm scouring the internet for scum that need to be dressed down and held to task.
I have a non-metal record of the week, and it's the new Social Distortion. It's really fucking good.
Oh yeah,
yeah. I am actually a big fan of theirs. Particularly those first 5 records. When I was like 14, I saw Another State of Mind on a friend's, third generation VHS of that documentary about them touring America in the early 80s. And I've always loved Social Distortion, but the last record prior to this new one, I thought was like horrible, like Bruce Springsteen sounding crap. But the punk rock has returned on this record, and it's very strong. It's on Epitaph Records. Yeah, he did a bunch of like in stores in like Jersey and Long Island, and I don't live in Jersey or Long Island, so I couldn't get to them. I did meet Mike Ness once at this club Coney Island High in 1995 when they played, and it was really cool. Shook his hand, and I think I met him one other time when they did a show with Degeneration in like 97. Seems like a really cool guy. But yeah, the record is strong. They do a cover of Chris Isaak's Wicked Game, which is, I love that song. And
I do like it very much too.
They do it justice. Yeah. But not sure about your thoughts about Social Distortion, Mr. Jackie.
To me, they have always fallen in the same bucket as Bad Religion, in that there are 1 or 2 tracks I really like, and then everything else I find almost unlistenable. I love Fuck Armageddon, This Is Hell. But I cannot bear basically every other Bad Religion track ever recorded. Fuck Armageddon, This Is Hell, I love. I hate everything else they've done. Social Distortion, I can't actually even remember what songs I like. I've never paid a huge amount of attention to them, but I have always felt the same way about them that I do about Bad Religion. So
I recommended Ride for Revenge for you. I'm going to recommend a particular album from Social Distortion for you called White Light, White Heat, White Trash. It is a top to bottom fantastic album. It's from the late 90s, mid 90s, 96, I think. That record in particular, check out. White Light, White Heat, White Trash. That is my suggestion to you.
Well, let's check out one of the singles off of this new album. The new album is entitled Born to Kill, and I've got a track up here called No Way Out. Is this a good one for us to get a measure of what this sounds like?
I believe so, yeah.
All right, well, let's give it a spin. I like it. You know
Yeah,
what it reminds
right?
me of? It has got a. I'm not quite sure how to put my finger on it, but there's something about it that instantly reminded me of Zen Arcade by Husker Du.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't think of something else that I would immediately compare it to, but this is to me fantastic driving music.
Yes.
If I'm on a long drive, I mean, it's a 4.5 hour drive for me to get to Scarborough when I go to Fortress. I think this is one that I'll throw on without a doubt. It's something the wife can tolerate without losing her mind. It's a bit easier to listen. I mean, you know, if you've got the road noise and stuff like that, you can't exactly be blasting Funeral Mist all the time. So I think this is something that I'll add to the playlist for the road.
Definitely. Like off the top of my head, like this will be in my tops of the year, and so will the Immolation, and so might be the Dark Throne, because I actually like the 2 songs I've heard quite a bit of the Dark Throne, believe it or not. I haven't liked the last 2, I would say, maybe even 3 all that much, but new one sounds pretty cool. But yeah, I won't steer you wrong. Check out that particular Social D record.
Awesome. All right, well, brother, thank you very much for your time. Since the guests this week were, you know, not exactly the usual black and death metal cacophony that people are used to on this podcast, you know, I think it seemed quite fitting that we ended off the news rant with something a little different too.
Yes.
Massive thank you to my guests, Belinda Kordic and Justin Greaves. Make sure you check out that new Crippled Black Phoenix album. As always, massive thank you to Sheriff Mike Scondotto. Absolute blast having you on the show. Always welcome to come back on. I'll see you guys in 2 weeks in Scarborough for Fortress Festival, and I'll see you on Tuesday right here for episode 318. Have a fucking great week, and I'll see you soon.